Hello and welcome to this EasyFox tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to implement the login view in the React.js client and how to handle the login event in the React.js client as well. So in the previous video, we have already had a button to connect to our server. And if I click on this button, the client automatically send a handshake request to the server, and it's also send another login request to the server with default values. So here the default values for the zone name is test, username is test, and password is test as well. And it received a login error comment back because we don't have any zone name, namely test, in the server. Okay, so first of all, let's jump into the React.js project. And first of all, I want to create a directory named the view. And in the view, I have a login view. And in the login view directory, I want a JavaScript file called login view.jsx. And first of all, I want to import React from React. And I want a class component called login view, which extends the React component. And don't forget to export this class so it can be used as a component. So export default login view. Alright, and we have a render function. So here, before actually implementing the view, I want to add the bootstrap to our client, to our React.js project. So I can do it by code yarn add bootstrap. And also yarn add React bootstrap. You can use npm if you like. So okay, to use the bootstrap in our project, we need to import it at the beginning of the index.js file. So to do that, we import the bootstrap dist css and then bootstrap .css. And now we are ready to use this in our view. So first, I'll implement the login view. So first, I only write down the login view text, and I want to change this button to the login view. Alright, and don't forget to import the login view. Okay, I no longer need the button, so I remove the on click as well. Okay, let's see what it look like now. Refresh. Okay, now I only have the login view text in my browser. Alright, so here I also want to create a CSS directory, and here I'll add a login.css. Okay, so first I have a div with the class name of login wrapper, and it is login wrapper. So I want it to be display flex, justify content center. Okay, and I want another, so I want it cut with the class name of login cut, and I need to import this from React Bootstrap. Okay, and then I want a cut dot title with the values of login, and I want to define the login cut in the CSS. Login cut. This is very simple. I'll have a padding of 16 point, margin top 46 point, and with the width of, for example, 700 px. Alright, let's see how this look like in the browser. Let's refresh. Okay, I have a cut here. Okay, I also want to change the div in the app.js to the container. Okay, so it will look much better. Okay, I have a login card here. Okay, let's jump back to here. Login card. I have a margin top of 46 point here. Alright. And next I want a form.group. So I need to import the form from React Bootstrap. And in this one I want a form.label username, and I also want another form.control. It is similar to the input tag holder. The placeholder is enter username. Alright, let's leave it like this for now. Right, let's see how it looks in the browser. Okay, I have a login, username, and here. Alright, and I want another, I want another form group which are the password, and in the form control I want to specify the type as password, so the text is hidden when typing, and the placeholder should be password or enter password. Seems good. Okay, but we don't see any padding here, so I think we need to rerun our project. Okay, let's rerun it by call yarn start. If you use RPM npm, you need to specify npm start. It takes a while to load the to reload the browser. Nothing happened. Okay, maybe so this one is the login card. Here it is, the login card. Oh, sorry, I haven't import the CSS into this login view, so I need to import CSS, login CSS. So hopefully it works now. Yes, perfectly. Okay, I also want another form. No, it's actually button with the text login. And I need to import the button from no, it's actually button from React Bootstrap. Alright, let's see. Yes, it works. But I want there are some space between the login and the enter password input. So I need to specify the class name, login button, and in the CSS I add the login button with the property margin top of 16 point, for example. Alright, it looks pretty good right now. Okay, and now let's implement the on-click for this button. So now I want to implement the on-click function. So I'll use the on login click as an arrow function. And here I want to log on login click for now. And right, let's see if it's work. So here in the on click, it should be this dot on login click. Alright, here is the console. If I click on the login, it logs that there is a log here, so it works. Right, I also want to store the values of the username and password. So I add a constructor here with the props, super props, and then I define a state with the username empty string and password empty string. So I'll define on username change function as an arrow function, and this will call the set state, which I username e.target.value. Alright, and similarly on password change, this set state username, sorry, password e.target.value, and in the corresponding component, which are the form control here, I'll add the on change, which equal to this dot on username change, and here for the form control of the password, it has a on change property, which are this dot on password chain. Okay, seems good. And now if I click on this one, I want to log the username and password as well. Username, which is this.state.username, and also the password. Okay, let's see if it's work. If it works, right, refresh. Click on the login, username, empty string, password empty string, because we haven't entered anything. So let's see, test 1 2 3 4, and click again. Yes, it recorded the right values for the username and password. Right. Okay, so similarly to what we have done in the previous video, I can call the connection to the server from here. So let's client equal to the socket proxy dot, because it is a singleton, I can call get instance, and then call client dot connect. All right, let's see what happens if I enter the username test, password as test1234, click on login. So now it sends a handshake command, it also sends a login command, but still with the default value, test test test, and of course the zone is not found. Okay, so now how can we actually pass the test and the test12345 as the password to this request, okay? So I'll call the client that define login request from here, and this dot state, I'll pass in the username and password as the arguments. All right, but I need to create a method, so it automatically create a method here. All right, so let's see. Okay, in this login request, let's see. I've already have a disconnection handler. Okay, I'll define a field of the socket proxy client, which called this dot connection. So I save the username and password here, username and the password. Okay, whenever I call define login request, I'll set new value for the property connection. And here I need to redefine the handshake handler. So okay, I'll define a handshake handler, which are easy.handshake handler, and I also redefine the get login request function, which is an arrow function, and I'll return the zone name, username, and password, and some data. some additional data, and for now I will set the data as an empty array, and the username is I can get it from the connection property, this dot connection dot username, and similarly for the password. All right, and for the zone name, it should be the config dot zone name, as we have already defined here. All right, and I also need to initialize the values for the connection here. So it should be this dot connection equal to username, which is empty string as default, password empty string as default. Okay, so basically when I click on the login button, it defines a login request before calling connect to the server. So let's see. Okay, so it defines the login request by setting new values for the connection property of the proxy client. So here, and then the handshake handler will take these values before sending the login request to the server. And don't forget to add the data handler, which are the ezy.command.handshake and handshake handler. All right. So let's see if we can actually send a request with a custom username and password. Okay. All right. Let's refresh the browser. Then input the username as test, password as test12344. Okay, and then click login, and you can see here it sent a login request with our specified values, which is the chat tutorial zone name, the test username, and the test1234 password. And it also received a login command back, and we can add a listener for this event, and we can continue like with the logic of our application. And it's also produce a log user test login successfully. For example, I can use another username like hello and the password hello as well, and click on login, and you can see the username hello, password hello, send login command, receive, and it print out user hello login successfully. And let's see the log in the server. You can see here it welcomed the user hello, and because the user hello doesn't exist in the database, you see in the user login controller, we have checked if the user is null, and we log that user doesn't exist in the database and create a new one. Otherwise, we log the user exists in the database. Okay, and let's check the database. You can see here we have the chat tutorial collection, we have the chat tutorial database, we have the chat user collection, and you can see it create the user hello, it create the user test. Right, so that's it. Basically, we have already implemented a very simple login function. And in the next video, I'll show you how to fully handle the login in our chat application. So stay tuned. Thank you. Bye.